Okay, guys, we are live. I am shooting from the hip today. No notes, no nothing today. Just going right into it. We're going to a quick little recap of last week. Of course, I roasted Jason in our matchup. Jason, great game. I mean, he put up 118 points, just an absolute monster showing. Unfortunately for Jason, not enough. You got to be pulling your hair out just a little bit. You put up 118 and still get clocked the way you did. I mean, that's rough. I mean, Russell Wilson looks like the best pick of the draft. Alvin Kamara is an absolute freak beast and can't really be stopped. So there you go. That was a beating. You got Jared beating Tony Jr., even though he absolutely deserved to lose, basically just because Tony had two guys get hurt in the middle of the game. So congratulations, Jared, at weaseling your way to a W as the Weasel does. You have Steve beat Reese because Reese punted QB and wideout this last week. And I guess Reese's whole quarterbacks don't matter theory, he's abandoned because he made a trade for Dak Prescott. So way to go back on what you thought was correct. But, I got to applaud you at least realizing that you were incredibly wrong and pivoting off of your ridiculously stupid strategy. So, hopefully that fixes your issues moving forward. Now, Vetri put up 140 last week. Huge week. Absolutely smacked down Tony Sr. It just seems like everybody is getting their best shot in against Tony Sr. It is brutal. Everybody he plays puts up just a monster of a week. And then we got Joe, who won another 1-point game. Joe is the luckiest guy in fantasy, as we've said for a long time. Joe plays great defense in fantasy. He somehow gets your team to not score as much as usual when you play against it. He's like the 2000 Baltimore Ravens, just playing great defense. Now, so without further ado, matchup previews. I'm not going to spend too much time on my matchup this week. I'm playing the last place team. I'm the highest point scorer in the league. I'm facing the lowest point scorer. It's a really, really bad matchup, bad situation as far as that goes. Now, on to the actual matchup. I mean, since I do have to go through this, I've got Russell Wilson is facing off against the Miami Dolphins. Yikes. Sorry about that in advance, Justin. You're looking at least 28 there, more likely up into the 30s. Going to be ugly. You got Allen Robinson and Julio Jones, both in pretty solid matchups. I mean, the Colts are more really, really tough against the run. Not great against opposing wideouts. They're okay, not great. So I expect Robinson to do just fine, especially with Nick in there. You, on the other hand, are rolling out Adam Thielen and Odell, who are just underperforming like wild right now. I don't expect Odell to get it going. I just don't. I mean, he's not very good. I applaud your maneuvering, getting some trades done. At least you're not just sinking straight to the bottom without throwing out grabbing for a life vest. It's not going to be good, though. I mean, so my bold prediction here is that the second highest scoring running back in this game, because, I mean, the first highest scoring running back is going to be Kamara. We all know that. So the second highest scoring running back in this game is going to be Kenyon Drake against the Panthers. He's going to break out in route to my easy cakewalk of a W against Justin. I mean, you might as well just change your team name to bye week. You're going to be 0-4. It's awful. Now, Vetri Black Tuna versus Baby Shark Doo-Doo. So Baby Shark Poop against Black Tuna. I think Tony gets Devontae Adams back this week, and that's huge for his team, but he did lose James Conner. And no, not to injury. That game's not being played. So if you have Steelers and Titans, get him out of your lineup. So he'll have to figure something out there. Especially Kareem Hunt is not practicing, which bodes well for Nick Chubb. However, Tony will have likely started Kareem Hunt in this spot. So Tony's going to have to find a fill-in for his flex spot. You could do worse than DJ Chark against Cincinnati in that regard. But that being said, John just stubbornly keeps trotting Drew Brees out there. Drew Brees is not a playable quarterback at this point. But it is a good matchup with the Lions, and he'll probably get a few more dump-offs to Kamara, where Kamara does all the work and makes him look good. Zeke, great matchup against the Browns. Eckler with a nightmare of a matchup at Tampa Bay. Sanders with a horrific matchup. Ertz with a horrific matchup. Bold prediction time here in this one. Matt Ryan, Monday night at Green Bay, getting Julio Jones back, finishes as a top 3 fantasy play this week, en route to Tony getting the W over John, giving Tony the win here this week. Getting off the schneid, his first win of the season. Now, Steve's a coward versus cheat code. And so what's interesting about this matchup is Jason just has Josh Allen in right now. And I'm not sure Steve's entire roster could beat Josh Allen on his own. You got Nuke Hopkins all of a sudden popped up on the injury report. He might not play this week. No reason to risk him if you're the Cardinals. I mean, you're playing the Panthers, probably going to get an easy W. Plus, Kenyon Drake's going to run over him. So I think Hopkins has a very real possibility of sitting out. Steve's team just isn't very good. Not super concerned about these guys. If it came down to it, I'm gonna go bold. I'm gonna take Josh Allen here in this matchup. So that being said, bold prediction here for this matchup. Jason, once he does fill out his roster, I think I'm going to go bold here. I think Frank Gore tops 14 fantasy points tonight against the Broncos. I think he's just going to get so much volume. The Broncos D is so banged up. I think Gore gets 80 yards and gets into the end zone. So there you go. There's the W for him. Obviously, Steve's not going to win. Jason's going to win. That's the prediction. There you go. Now, I'd be remiss if I didn't also mention the fact that Lamar Jackson is looking like the worst pick of the draft, bar none. Like, you can make a case, Saquon Barkley, okay, but you can't predict injury. That's not bad process. Taking Lamar Jackson second overall was bad process. And, Steve's going to be paying for it all year because his team sucks. Now, Cobra Kyler versus Aaron the GOAT. So we got Joe versus Senior here. Interesting matchup, especially if Nuke misses Kyler Murray in a game that the Cardinals out of control throughout. May only be good for 15 to 20 this week. On the flip side, Aaron Rodgers at home against the Falcons is a nightmare for Joe. That is ugly, especially with Adams returning, which also hurts Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones is solid with Davante Adams in the game, but you do not see those big explosion games with Davante Adams in the game. I like Melvin Gordon against the Jets tonight. I think he'll do just fine. Kittle will probably give Joe a pretty good first half before getting hurt again. The Denver D is a great play, but not as great as Baltimore at Washington. That's ugly. Could get out of hand. I really like Darrell Henderson this week. And moving forward, it looks like Darrell Henderson's taken over. He's the guy. And of course he is, because Steve cut him like a moron. So Darrell Henderson's going to go on to put up Todd Gurley of 2 years ago type of numbers. And we're all just going to, sit back as Steve once again saves senior season. So bold prediction in this one. You guys may think this is pretty bold, but I'm going to go bold on this. Darrell Henderson finishes the week as the overall RB2 Number 2 overall. Right behind, of course, Alvin Kamara. Nobody's catching Kamara, guys. Sorry. He's the RB1. But the RB2 this week, Darrell Henderson. And I'm going to give Senior his first win of the season with the nuke news, knowing that he's going to, at the very least, be limited in that game. Now on to Reese Old Dickhorns versus Jared Steve equals Liam. Now, of course, for those of you that don't know, Liam was the guy on my bachelor cruise that paid for a girl to come with him. And she basically ditched him for every other guy on the ship while she was on the ship. She was basically down to get down with everybody. So there you go. Basically, Liam is the lowest of the low. Now, you look at, I don't know, Jared, may consider benching Mahomes. That's a tough matchup against the Patriots there. Let's take a look here. Oh, you can't because Tannehill's out. So I guess there's no way for you to screw this up this week. You're playing Mahomes. He's your only quarterback. And really, you shouldn't really be rostering another quarterback. You have Pat Mahomes. So I have no idea why you're rostering another QB. I think Preston Williams was probably a pretty solid add. James Robinson, great matchup against the Bengals. I'm not sure if Jerick McKinnon's going to play. Also, as I predicted, Jeff Wilson was the far more effective back and got more of the workload than McKinnon. So McKinnon's really, he's a low-end flex play at best, and that's even if he plays. Don't love McKinnon, but you really don't have any other options. Calvin Ridley, of course, is going to continue his reign of terror against the Packers. Now, on the other side of things, Dak Prescott, great addition to Reese's team. He should pay dividends right away against Cleveland. I think that Edwards-Helaire, as the diva princess likes to be called, and Josh Jacobs are both going to be duds this week. Both really tough matchups. And both, honestly, they're both kind of settling in as matchup plays, which kind of sucks for guys that you took in the first and second round. I mean, they have a decent floor, but you can't count on those guys to produce big numbers in tough matchups. You just can't. I think Michael Thomas is likely to come back this week, but I do see them kind of easing him back in. High ankle sprains are no joke. We saw last year it took Saquon, 6 to 8 weeks before he was Saquon again after a high ankle sprain, and he similarly came back pretty quickly from it after only 3 weeks. So if Thomas comes back after 2 weeks, I have a hard time believing we're getting the same Michael Thomas as you've seen in years past. So keep an eye on that. Bobby Trees, obviously great. Stephon Diggs, obviously great. So bold prediction in this one. I hate to say this. I cut this guy. But Mike Gesicki will be the tight end 1 this week. Tight end 1 overall. I think he just explodes on the Seahawks as they're playing from behind, and the Seahawks can't cover anyone. So winner of this matchup, I'm going to have to give it to old Dickhorns, though. Reese is going to get this W. I think that Dak Prescott's going to make the difference. And I expect Stephon Diggs to absolutely obliterate the Raiders. So there you go, guys. There you have it. There's your matchup preview. Best of luck to everybody but Justin this weekend. I hope you all have a great weekend.